The clink of crystal glasses and the low hum of murmured deals filled the air at Le Chateau, the kind of place where Wall Street wolves pretended they weren't just glorified gamblers. But when Marcus Hale's voice sliced through it like a bad trade, every head snapped toward table 12. "Stay away from my table," he bellowed, his face twisting red under the soft glow of the chandelier. The black waitress, Jada Ellis, 28 and holding it together on a double shift, froze mid-step, her tray balanced with the precision of someone who'd carried heavier burdens. Jada didn't flinch. She'd heard worse from drunk frat boys and entitled execs. But Hale was different. Tech billionaire, fresh off another IPO that lined his pockets while laying off half his staff. His eyes locked on her like she was the glitch in his perfect night. "I said, stay away," he repeated louder, drawing stares from the linen-draped tables. The room went quiet, forks hovering, breaths held. Jada set the tray down slowly, her dark curls catching the light as she straightened up. "Sir, your appetizers," she said, voice steady as steel, not a trace of apology. Hale leaned back in his chair, smirking at his companions. Two suits who looked like they'd been cloned from the same Ivy League mold. "You deaf? I don't want your... whatever this is touching my food." The word hung there, laced with something uglier than disdain. Jada's jaw tightened, but her eyes? They sparked. She glanced at the kitchen door, then back at him, a decision flickering across her face like code compiling. Instead of walking away, she pulled out her phone from her apron pocket, against every rule in the book, and tapped the screen. "Fine," she said, casual as scrolling TikTok. "But you're gonna want to see this first." The suits exchanged glances, one chuckling nervously. Hale's smirk faltered. "What the hell is that? Put it away before I have you fired." Jada ignored him, holding the phone up so the table could see. The screen lit up with a video feed, not shaky iPhone footage, but crystal-clear security cam angles from the restaurant's back office. It showed Hale earlier that night, slipping into the alley behind the kitchen, phone to his ear, voice low and urgent. "Yeah, it's done. The merger's clean, no traces." But then the audio sharpened. "And that whistleblower? Handled. Quietly." Gasps rippled through the dining room. Jada's voice cut in, cool and collected. "You see, Mr. Hale, I've been waiting tables here for 2 years, but I moonlight as a freelance investigator. Your company's been dodging taxes and burying employee complaints for months. I caught wind of it last week. Overheard your call to your fixer while I was bussing your booth." She zoomed in on the video timestamp, 8:47 p.m., not 10 minutes after he'd arrived. The suits shifted uncomfortably, one reaching for his water glass like it was a lifeline. Hale's face drained of color, his fork clattering against the plate. "This is bullshit. You can't just..." But Jada wasn't done. She swiped to another clip, emails pulled from a dummy account she'd set up, cross-referenced with public filings. "Your offshore accounts? Sloppy. And that quiet layoff last quarter? Left a trail of NDAs that scream cover-up." The room was electric now, phones subtly emerging from purses and pockets, capturing the meltdown. A woman at the next table whispered to her date, "Is this for real?" Jada stepped closer, her server blacks suddenly looking less like a uniform and more like armor. "I was gonna let it slide tonight. Serve your overpriced steak and pretend I didn't hear. But you just made it personal." She nodded toward the bar, where the manager hovered, eyes wide. "Call the cops, Mike. Tell them Marcus Hale's here, and he's got a story to tell." Hale shot up, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard, but the suits were already standing, backing away. "You little..." he started, but security. Two burly guys who'd been comped meals by Jada more times than they could count, materialized at his sides. As they escorted him out, Hale sputtering threats about lawsuits and connections, Jada turned to the table. The appetizers sat untouched, steam curling up like unanswered questions. "Anyone else need a refill?" she asked the stunned diners, her smile sharp enough to cut glass. The room erupted in applause, scattered at first, then full-throated. A tech mogul type at table 8 raised his glass. Even the sommelier cracked a grin. But Jada didn't linger on the high. She clocked out at midnight, the alley still smelling of garlic and rain, and slid into her beat-up Honda. Her phone buzzed, texts from coworkers, a viral clip already making rounds on X. "Hero," one said. "Watch your back," warned another. She drove home to her cramped apartment in Brooklyn, the city lights blurring past. Flopping onto the couch, she pulled up her laptop, fingers flying over keys. The video she'd shown? Just the tip. Hale's empire was built on sand, embezzlement, harassment suits buried under settlements, a Ponzi scheme dressed as innovation. It started 6 months ago, when Jada's cousin got pink-slipped from Hale Tech. No severance, just a vague email about restructuring. He'd spiraled, bills piling up, pride shattered. Jada, fresh out of community college with a cybersecurity cert she couldn't afford to finish, had dug in. Nights after shifts, she'd pored over leaked docs, cross-checked with SEC filings, even posed as a recruiter to snag insider chats. It wasn't revenge. It was restitution. Her cousin was stable now, thanks to a side gig she hooked him up with. But the fire? It burned hotter. The next morning, Jada woke to her phone exploding. CNN had picked up the story. Billionaire busted by Waitress sleuth. Reporters camped outside Le Chateau, but she was already at a coffee shop in Queens, meeting her contact. Lena, a journalist with scars from too many exposés. "You dropped a bomb last night," Lena said, sliding a latte across the table. Jada shrugged, stirring in sugar. He lit the fuse. They huddled over Lena's tablet, piecing together the next leak. Hale's board meetings, recorded via a bugged conference call she'd accessed through a disgruntled ex-employee. By noon, Hale's stock tanked 15%. Protests popped up outside his Manhattan penthouse. Gig workers, laid-off coders, faces Jada recognized from online forums. She watched from her phone, a knot in her stomach. This wasn't just about one shout. It was the system cracking open. Her boss at Le Chateau called, "Jada, you're a legend. Come back anytime on the house." She laughed, but hung up quick. No time for celebrations. Hale's lawyers were circling, subpoenas flying. That afternoon, Jada met her cousin, Tariq, at a park bench overlooking the East River. He hugged her tight, the wind whipping his hoodie. "You didn't have to do this for me." She pulled back, eyes serious. "Wasn't just for you. It's for all of us, the ones they step over." Tariq nodded, pulling out his own phone. "Look, job offers already. Tech ethics firms. Because of you." They sat there, watching ferries cut through the water, the city pulsing with possibility. But Hale wasn't done fighting dirty. By evening, smears hit the tabloids. Waitress fabricates scandal for clout. Anonymous sources claim Jada had a grudge, maybe even planted the evidence. Her inbox flooded, threats, job offers from rivals, interview requests from podcasters. She ignored most, focusing on fortifying her digital trail. Back in her apartment, she encrypted files backed up to the cloud, even looped in a pro bono lawyer from a nonprofit. The climax hit at Hale's emergency presser the next day. Jada watched live from a dive bar, nursing a soda. He stood at a podium, tie askew, denying everything. "A disgruntled employee," he called her, voice oily. But then her video dropped. Full version, timestamps verified, audio synced with call logs. The feed cut to chaos. Reporters shouting questions, Hale's face crumpling as his PR guy yanked the mic. Jada slipped out of the bar, the story chasing her like a shadow. Weeks blurred. Testimony before a Senate subcommittee, her words echoing in hearing rooms. Power like his thrives on silence. "I'm just the voice that wouldn't stay quiet." Hale's empire crumbled. Arrests, asset freezes, a class action suit that ballooned overnight. Jada? She quit waiting tables, landed a gig at a watchdog firm. Her corner office overlooking the same streets she'd hustled. One night, months later, she returned to Le Chateau. Not as staff, but a guest. The manager comped her the best table, the one that started it all. As she savored the steak, ironic, she thought, the room felt different. Lighter. No shouts. Just stories whispered in awe. Jada raised her glass to the shadows, a quiet toast to the woman who'd stunned them all. And in that moment, the city hummed on, secrets spilling like wine.